the other thing I wanted to ask about, probably Christopher, the American who actually had spotted that he was going to back Luna. Somos todos Americanos here. Aquí. We're all Americans here. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
America is a big place. Estados Unidos is a country on the east.
Mm.
But the Yankees, I should say, though Hal Carter, who actually, as you know, Christopher, was actually turning to try to stop Gutierrez.
Yeah.
The So what happens to him, if anything? I'm curious. How his buddy
Uh,
Jack Jackson has just been shot off his feet. So,
yeah, I was just going to fill in that. I
yeah.
think he's just he gets ready to shoot someone,
Mm-hmm.
but as the action stops, everyone sort of
Mm-hmm.
it's quiet. He stands there with his gun and looks and realizes that he's alone with Jack
Right.
Jackson
Mm-hmm.
lying beside him, and looks at Luna, and she just mentions that the ranch was not for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I did say so, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. All right. Whew.
But
Let's see.
we
Let me draw a few
he's sort of
lines through. Let's see here.
some
So
NPCs.
gone, gone, gone. Obispo injured. Carter on his feet. Mateo survived. Is that correct, Hans, or not?
Yeah, I think Mateo survived. Yeah.
Okay. And you, I suppose, are just keeping Cristobal alive out of sheer altruism at this point. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So to take to run with what I'm hearing as we move into kind of this reassessment of what to do, Hal Carter will, certainly, put his hands up and step back, and he says, I'm done here. I'm done. I'm done. Not for sale." And is basically agreeing with Luna and moving back toward basically his horse.
Yeah.
And
I think Luna said, "Let him go. Let him ride away."
Okay.
And so underlines that no one is going to shoot him.
Except, of course, for other characters who aren't under your control, who might, but I can't think of anybody at the moment, cool. Right?
Exactly.
The Dueños will kind of look at that guy and look at Cristobal, who is not paying any attention at all. So they don't get any direction from Cristobal about that. Most of these guys are toughies, more associated with Cristobal and Mateo than they are with the church. So they didn't look to Serrano for guidance. So at the moment it would probably be Cristobal and Luna who are looking at each other, through the through the smoke, and Mateo probably is more interested in the gunmen who basically are caught. Okay, if we're going to reload, we could do this again, but we came off badly last time. So he's basically threatening them with, "Do you want to go again? You want to go again?" Effectively, and they're kind of reconsidering their life decisions about that, and are making noises like, no, well, that guy's dead. So that leaves Obispo, who at that point groans loudly enough so that it's suddenly clear that he is, in fact, not entirely killed. So he's, kind of kicking on the ground and rolling a little bit and, realizing that he has been shot and is groaning in pain. And so, let's turn to both Jose and Luna and see what they do. That's the sort of array of figures at the moment.
I think I nod towards Cristobal and just say you my husband. And maybe before he actually can answer, I hear this Obispo groaning. So I turn around and walk over to him. And look at his wounds, how badly they are.
Well, in pool terms, he can now be saved. I mean, Hans didn't say he was shot fatally, so he's not. Although I do believe Hans said it wasn't minor.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty rough. It'll require some serious intervention, but
Cristobal's interest is we must find his body.
I I look back at him and say, yeah. Ask those men up there to might be the ones here
right.
Have an idea.
Between the Dueños and the men who came with Luna and some of the people who may know a little bit about this, that effort can begin. Hans, how about you?
I think I'm going to check up on Obispo as well.
Well, he's, as I say, he's lying there and realizing that he's shot, and he'll basically say, almost kind of abstractly, help.
Yeah, look up at this one of the men that has sat down beside Obispo as well. And can you save him? Have you done this before? I'm not asking again that.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's asking you, Hans.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's
okay. It was unclear. Yeah, I think I reach out to Obispo, kind of, when he calls for help. Yeah, you asked me that. I think so. He looks. I mean, we have to do it now. We have to take him. And I kind of like whistle for one of the men while they're gathering their stuff to see if they can bring a horse over.
Yeah, you can probably tend to him and keep him alive without any need for a roll or anything. Based on what you said before, we've already resolved that. So therefore, so you're going to be attending to Obispo, and he's kind of gotten the message. He's not getting this ranch, and maybe when he's thinking more clearly, he may turn his mind towards salvaging as much of that deal as he can. But whether, that's a task for the future. He's certainly not thinking about that right now. So, his response at Luna, when he does, he's rational enough to look at Luna, who's probably looking down at him like, the judgment of an angry angel, and is basically clear that he concedes right? He's okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything, but his look is one of complete non-defiance. He's kind of taking himself. Okay, yeah, I guess it's yours. There's, um,
So I look back at him and I say, "You're under the protection of God now."
mm-hmm,
I look up at Jose and
mm-hmm,
I stand up and join Cristobal and the others in
mm-hmm.
search for Alonso's body.
Cristobal has okay. So first of all, I want to have an interaction with Cristobal and Luna, but first I want to know more about Serrano. Your take on this is just keeping Obispo alive at the moment, just humanitarian reasons, right? And is there anything else you want to attend to or deal with? A certain amount of people they're finding Melero's body now.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening at the moment. It's going to be a little while. I mean, that his death had occurred on the outskirts of the ranch, and so it's and the principal actors in that are now deceased. So it will take a little while, but it can happen. Sooner or later, a wagon will return to this place, and the body of Alonso will be on it. But that's not going to happen right away. In the meantime, is there anything else you're going to attend to or talk about, if anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then for Cristobal and Luna, he says to you, I didn't ask for it, and I wouldn't have wanted it. But you and your family are safe from us. And he kind of squints and says, I say nothing of any others.
I nod and I wouldn't ask for that.
Mm-hmm. So it's what this means in the larger picture is completely. I mean, how could one California ranch persist all by itself? Right. I mean, what is well, and there's also the question of Tijuana, which frankly the Digueños have almost no chance against, unless they roused like every Digueño in the whole countryside erupted in insurrection. That's the only way Tijuana would be taken out. So there's complexity here in the larger cultural picture, but I doubt either of you are thinking at that kind of geopolitical level.
No, that's much more close to home.
Okay, so the next, now that those interactions have occurred, the next thing to do probably would be the disposition of Alonso. There is a church in the region, probably up in Tijuana, or how do you guys want to handle this? That's my question. So it's probably up to Luna. What do you want to do? And Catholics have weird notions about, like, ground, which ground is which. So.
Yeah. How are you buried at the church cemetery, or are you how is it?
Well, for a property owner, you could actually have a family plot, but it would have to be presided over by a priest and designated as holy ground. But more commonly, you would geez, you know what? For this culture, I don't even know, right? For this culture and this place and time, with these ranches scattered out and about across all these areas, it's not like everybody would be bringing their dead to the mission.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, so you probably are still using, local graveyards, just sort of dressed up with a cross now. over
Yeah.
the last couple of centuries.
So in my mind, I had this vision that both Alonso and his father had this place on the ranch where both of them sort of talked about being buried, the place where they
Right.
sort of loved the view, and they have sort of arranged it to be a graveyard. So I think we go there to bury them. So
Okay.
and
It will be necessary for a priest to do something there sooner or later.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not proper. But yeah.
But I think I will ask Jose, as he's declared himself being from the mission, if he is a priest, if he can handle this.
I'm not a priest.
Ooh, I was really hoping he was going to say he was, but
I think I'm feeling a little bit, yeah. Anyway, says that he's not a priest.
Yeah, Mateo will actually flash you a look of could have been, could have been.
But I can say what needs to be said. You know, like, yeah, we don't, yeah.
Good.
Right, Mateo actually will. Now that I think about it, Mateo will step up and quickly say that you were, very almost a priest, and that this would be very proper until, a priest can come. But this is pretty good. Right. Whatever jargon is necessary in the Catholic hierarchy for him to pull that off, he will seek it.
In my mind, I saw this 15 words added as almost a priest
Right.
underlined. So that's great.
I didn't look at your Hans. Did you add words after last time?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. So that's good though. We'll. I didn't mean to ask for them. I was just checking because it would be nice in the fullness of time to look at the lengthening, right? The lengthening sagas for both characters.
Yeah.
Now, therefore, are we to have a burial?
Yes.
All right. So yes, it is attended by all present. Everybody takes this very seriously, and it is a solemn affair. Particularly since the aforementioned father was also found, having not survived the night. So therefore, you have both men being buried here, as they had anticipated. So this is in another part, probably, as one would expect, a nice shady spot. I also think that unless either of you wants to do anything specific at this point, we can just have that particular thing be done.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Just see it as a quiet ceremony,
right?
With the stunning.
I am going to turn then, as this is happening, I'm going to turn my attention to Serrano, who of everybody present has seen the different dynamics. You have militant Dueños. You also see that Dueños live here and treat this place, this ranch, as their home. Because some of those people will be showing up for the funeral. You also can probably put certain of the pieces together. The escaped slaves who became members of the Mexican army. The fact that a great deal of the Mexican army at the higher levels doesn't care a bit about the West Coast. Right. That the members of the army are now no longer the revolutionaries that they were a couple of decades ago. That you've seen that these Californios um, are divided in what's going to be happening to their properties. That this actually was a buyout of part of Baja, and what other parts you don't know. Although there was mention of San Francisco at one point by Amato Yerba Buena, but you don't know that. But the point is, there's obviously a buyout from another part of the United States that had been underway. And you've been living at the mission for a while. You know that there's kind of a variety of viewpoints in San Diego about this whole situation. I think the absolute you probably can see the coming storm. I think Serrano can probably suddenly realize the coming storm that nobody else here realizes. That then the mission being part of Mexico for at least some of this area, the Dueños and their needs or demands, or just plain wretched situation, right, with all the diseases and stuff. The business of San Diego, the presence of Tijuana, it's not going to stay. It's not going to stay this way. You can kind of see changes. So I think of all the people standing there, you're the only one who would see it.